The airport smelled of perfume, coffee, and nervous departures. My hand clutched my phone so tightly that my knuckles turned white. The screen glowed against my skin, bright and accusing. One simple action, one deliberate touch. I pressed down, and his number vanished into silence. Blocked. My husband no longer had a way to reach me. My chest rose and fell, fast and uneven. The sound of boarding announcements echoed overhead, but my mind only heard the hollow thump of my heart. I told myself it was only for the weekend. I told myself he would be fine without me. But already my throat felt dry, as if guilt had stolen all the water from my body. I stepped onto the plane, forcing a smile for strangers. The seatbelt clicked, the engines roared, and the moment the ground disappeared beneath me, I felt the weight of my decision pressing harder than gravity. When I arrived, the city lights glimmered like 1,000 secrets. The hotel lobby smelled of polished wood and expensive cologne. I followed him. This man I had chosen for my escape into the elevator. The mirrored walls reflected not only our faces but my own hesitation. Inside the room, the curtains were half open, spilling fragments of neon glow across the bed. I set my phone down on the nightstand, face down, screen dark. I tried to ignore how heavy it felt, even untouched. He kissed me, his hands firm and certain, and for a moment I surrendered to the rush. But the air in the room seemed thicker than air should be. Every hum from the city outside felt sharper, like needles pricking my skin. The clinking glasses from the bar below rose through the floor like an accusation. Even the air conditioner rattled with an edge that made me restless. I tried to laugh. I tried to push away the thought of my husband waiting at home, unaware, but every shadow in the room seemed to carry his shape. 3 days passed like stolen time. The sheets smelled of unfamiliar cologne. The mirror reflected a face I struggled to recognize. Laughter came, but it felt hollow. The kisses lingered, but they left an aftertaste of fear. Each night, when I turned my head toward the window, I imagined my husband's face staring back through the glass. And each morning, when I opened my bag, I saw my phone buried beneath my clothes, buzzing with silenced calls I refused to hear. I convinced myself that ignorance was safety. I told myself that if I did not see his messages, I could not be guilty. But deep down, my body knew the truth. My hands shook every time I touched the phone, even without unlocking it. The trip ended too quickly, yet not quickly enough. I boarded the plane home, my chest tight, my mouth dry. For the first time, I unblocked him. The screen lit up, but nothing appeared, no messages, no calls, only emptiness. I told myself it was because he was tired. I told myself he would be waiting at the door when I returned. But fear gnawed at me, like sharp teeth in the dark. When the taxi pulled into our street, the world outside felt eerily quiet. No porch light glowed, the windows looked darker than usual. The key turned too easily in the lock, and the door opened to a house that felt colder than any winter night. The air was still. The scent of his coffee, always present in the mornings, was gone. I stepped into the living room, my footsteps echoing as if the walls themselves were hollow. The chair where he always sat was empty. Not just empty, moved, pushed too far from the table, as though it had been abandoned mid-thought. In the hallway, the rack was bare. His shoes were gone. His coat was missing. My stomach twisted so violently that I had to grip the wall for balance. I stumbled into the kitchen, and there it was, an envelope on the counter. Plain, unassuming, but my name was written across it in his steady, careful hand. I reached for it, but my fingers trembled so badly that I nearly dropped it. I held it against my chest instead, feeling the weight of the paper like a stone pressing down on my heart. The silence of the house was no longer ordinary silence. It was a silence that screamed. It wrapped around me like a shroud. Every corner of the room echoed with his absence. The clock ticked, steady and merciless, as if marking the end of something I could never recover. I sank to the floor, clutching the envelope, unable to open it. I wanted to read his words. I wanted to know what he had written, but I was terrified that the letter would be more final than the silence. The walls leaned closer, carrying the ghost of his presence. The chair that would never hold him again. The mug that would never warm his hands. The life that would never be the same. I understood then that I had traded truth for a lie that vanished the moment I reached for it. And the cost was not just a fight. It was not just anger. It was forever.